you will want to come back and try it again. So I'm Leisa Peterson in Sedona, and Vicki, where are you? Let's see, you froze up a little bit. There you go.
Did I freeze up? Okay. I think it might hurt if I'm actually on the Facebook. So I'm going to close it, okay, since
Perfect.
You're on it. I'm going to close it.
Yeah, and I couldn't even get it to work, so we're good.
Okay.
So, and actually that's a great idea too. I'm going to just turn off my phone. So, Vicki, are you in Scottsdale?
Yeah, I'm in Scottsdale right now. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, Tina. Hi, Tina. Janice. Hello. Okay, so what we wanted to do today was this is the first in the series. First time out, Vicki and I have been hanging out a lot together, and we're always looking for a reason to get together and share. So we thank you for joining us. And, we're going through some really unusual times. And what we wanted to do today in this kickoff conversation is have it be fun and light and maybe even silly and get into our bodies and play. And it's all about learning how to heal with the chakras. In the next hour, we're going to give our own stories. We're going to give you some exercises. We're going to engage in just the magnificence, is what I would say about chakras. And I was thinking as I was preparing that it was like a year and a half ago that I was working on my book, The Mindful Millionaire, and I was doing research on the chakras, and there's a lot of chakra stuff in there. And I Google searched one day, came across Vicki's website, I think I didn't even see your YouTube channel yet. I just saw your site, and I was like, she knows everything about chakras. Like, I was so excited because I was like a beginner compared to what you were sharing. And I immediately, you have those spontaneous moments where I write to her, and I don't know, you were somewhere in Europe at the time. And I wrote to her and I said, oh my gosh, I love you. And would you come on my podcast? And then you wrote back and you're like, I'm traveling right now, but sure,
I'd love to.
I don't even know if we made the connection in our first exchange, because I don't think I said Sedona, and I don't think you said Sedona, but within a week or so, all of a sudden, it's like we live down the street from each other, okay, like in Sedona, and that was just spontaneous. So talk about synchronicity. And then when you got back from Europe, we ended up meeting here in this office, and we had our first conversation for the podcast. Yay!
Gosh, it feels in some ways longer and feels some ways shorter. Longer in how deep we've gone and how much we've both experienced, and shorter in how much fun and how quickly the time has passed. So it's a strange feeling. When you said that, I'm like, whoa, is that how long?
It does seem like longer. I had to think about it. The years run together, but here we are. And the biggest, most important thing that I wanted to just kind of have you soak in is that Vicki and I come at chakras in a different way, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. But it's funny because you could even be doing the same thing as you think of, oh, this is how Leisa approaches them, and this is how Vicki approaches them. And what's so cool about it is I approach it from the root chakra up to the crown chakra. So I go bottom up. Vicki, on the other hand, goes top down. And we meet in the middle with the heart chakra, right? We dance at the heart chakra level. But because of how differently we approach them, we're constantly teaching each other all the time about a different way to be looking at it. So our relationship is so cool because instead of being like either or, we've learned to be both and when we talk about chakras, because it's okay to have a different opinion. It's okay to have different experiences. And we're living proof that it's actually really stimulating to notice that we can have very different, I follow human design and and you follow astrology a lot. And it's like, we are designed differently in this lifetime. And so the chakras can help us to understand that depth of our being in a different way, in a deeper way, I think. And anything you want to add to that before I kind of talk a little bit about my own journey and then you do the same?
Well, I'd love to say that we are built different, but these are you are one of the chakra types that I've always been very tantric about this. In fact, I think that's what I'm bringing to the table more than anyone else on the planet. Because I needed to go top down, which is the opposite of what we've been doing for about 5,000 years. And many women, especially the spiritual women in the tribe, you can often be that way. You're very already psychic, already emotional, already connected to the higher realms, and actually need to do more embodiment and come down into the manifestation realms. But you have more of a traditional, you come from finance and everything, so you definitely went bottom up. But you're so open-minded. You're not like the traditional people that I've seen doing bottom up. You're not male. So, so it's been fun really working with you in that regard. But you definitely fit. I talk about and have since the beginning almost 3 chakra types. Lower chakra oriented, upper chakra, or lower chakra dominant, upper chakra dominant, and split. And we decided that there was tiny bits which you've totally shifted. You had some split energy. And you've been rocking the solar plexus, which has really made your root stuff come out. But we have, you are, the way we're talking about it today is you're more bottom up, which would be the lower chakra dominant, and I'm more top down or psychic down. But you're just as psychic as I am, and I'm becoming as grounded as you. So it can happen, right? It's just the psychic part was the mindfulness development for you in your finance world, and the grounding part was the manifestation in real world stuff for me in my up here world. So,
yeah. So
I think we're approaching it the same as what I think I'm trying to say. I think we're both very tantric. We're just different types.
Yeah.
So it's
super fun to just notice, and you'll hear it. Like, I thought would be helpful is I've never shared this, and I feel like it's applicable with healing. This concept of healing with the chakras, if I could just talk for a few minutes about how I've used the chakras and why they've been so pivotal in my life. I had a financial career. I had a long time meditation practice. And it wasn't until about 5 years ago that the chakras started literally speaking to me. And I had a note to myself, like, what they did was, even though I had all those years, 14, 15 years of meditation experience and tantric experience in the Buddhist tradition, I still had a lot of the negative self-talk that was going on in the background. And what the chakras did was, not only did they help me, the more I understood what was going on inside of me by the chakras literally talking to me, from that psychic voice, is they helped me find my true self. Because in the absence of the limiting beliefs, in the absence of the small self, the egoic identification, we are the true self. Like, that is our true being. But the problem is there's so much noise that we hold inside of our bodies, inside of our psyche, inside of our belief systems, that you can't hear it. And so for me, the more starting at the root level and working my way up, and really, it feels like I almost spent close to a year on each one of them, in the amount of time that I dive into them and I explore them and I use them in my daily meditation practice. But what they do is they inform me of where I'm out of alignment with the true self. That's it. They tell me, you aren't doing this. You aren't paying attention to the truth. You're getting stuck in the story. And so the more I paid attention to the chakras, they literally did the work, because they were showing me again and again what was true and what was not true. And I happened to work my way up. So root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and then crown. That was my pattern. But do you want to share a little bit about your backstory, about how they came into your life?
Right. Okay. So I totally relate to that. And because they do, and I know they spoke to me loud and clear, but it was just the lower ones that were speaking to me. The root was saying, come home, because I had an extremely dysfunctional childhood. My dad died when I was 1.5, and he was like the anchor in the family. My mother was not. She came from a background that was tough, and she kind of went off the deep end when he passed. So I really was kind of raising myself. There wasn't that safety, that root chakra foundation foundational stuff we get in the first 7 years, and in particular, not in the womb to the first 2 or 3 when it's really unconscious. So I found that in my 40s, freezing on you, I found that in my 40s, I started to, my life was kind of falling apart. Like when I thought I was building something, it would always fall apart. It would fall apart because where's the foundation? So I also realized I had really bad, all the signs of, I did a lot of yogic work and found out I was totally, I had like 10 problems, but they were all root chakra. So I had one problem. Money issues, knee issues, feet problems, anxiety, terrible anxiety, like post-traumatic stress disorder. I'd wake up anxious every morning, which is an interesting thing on the planet right now because we're all being invited to kind of check out that energy and see how it feels in our bodies. But because of this, I would do yoga, really physical yoga. I was graced with a great style of yoga, and I got better each time I did it. But then I'd go to bed and my anxiety would come back. It was like literally inside my cells. So I just said, okay, if I can be better after yoga, I can be better all the time. It exists. It's possible. So I asked my guides, because I'm upper chakra, right? I'm always talking to my guides. I asked my guides, what do I do? And they sent me to the movie, What the Bleep Do We Know?, where I learned about Masaru Emoto's work and words on water. And I knew about the symbols. This is the symbol for the root chakra. And I went and saw that movie and I thought, oh my gosh, if I get this thing on my tailbone, on my body, what they call a tramp stamp, which was not very comfortable. It really hurt. It should shift everything according to his work. And Leisa, that's exactly what happened. And I went, of course, to Sedona. I wasn't living there at the time. This little guy, so cute, named Shiva, which means God in Sanskrit, put a stencil. It was less than this, actually. It wasn't even as powerful as mine. Put it on my body, and energy just rushed down both legs. And it has literally been, and it's a 12-year return almost right now. In April, it was 12 years, which I get shivers in my legs when I shared that with you, because it's the Jupiter return into Capricorn that we're going through right now that's so big on the planet. That was 12 years ago when this happened to me, and I created chakra boosters because I was like, oh, I can just do temporary tattoos. So I made these. My son who has Asperger's, he helped me create them. And since then, we've just put a lot of them out in the planet, like over like 150,000 or something I've ordered since the beginning or had made. So
had you studied them before that?
Yes, I was a yoga teacher and I had studied them, but because I wasn't such a good student, and I went through like 3 different teacher trainings. I had to keep going through teacher trainings because embodiment was tough for me. Embodiment was tough, but every time they do it, I'd hear the chakras again from a slightly different angle. And after a while, I was like, oh, it started to really sink in. All my problems are just root chakra problems, right? Mm-hmm. Money issues, home issues, moving around a lot, anxiety, knee, if you have bowels, that's all root chakra issues and stuff. So that, and I also saw it in people's bodies. I was a person who observed a lot of bodies, and I would know if someone was kind of like, I didn't see the colors, but I could see in poses and stuff if someone was lacking like solar plexus or not grounded.
There was one note about not hearing sound, so I just want to hear someone else say they can see sound or hear sound.
We do.
I see it. And then also, Varen, you might want to come back in, like go out and then come back in and see if it's not. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, and Laurel, there's a few questions. How do you know if you're top down, bottom up?
Well, one of the things you can do is there is a really good online written test. There's only one that I have found over all the years, and it comes in several languages, several European languages, and it's at Eclectic Energies, the word eclectic and energies, plural.com. The guy's really cool. He never markets to you. He never does anything. It's just a great test. So I'd recommend one, just go there and see. If you have a tendency to be real strong in the lower and weak in the upper, you're lower chakra dominant. If you have a tendency to have all these upper scores, but you're getting negative in your root and your sacral, then you're going to be upper chakra dominant. And if you find your solar plexus is real low and your heart is really high, and everything else is kind of bouncing around, you're probably a split, which means you tend to jump and do sort of what each group does, but you do it back and forth. We call it bipolar, right?
Sometimes. Bipolar. So that's what you said. I have done some of that. I've
in
like
the
kind of,
past, like
yeah.
you have totally been owning it as you're bringing out your book and all this. And of course, the way you influence me more with root, I influence you more with solar plexus because that's my destiny. I have a lot of that. So, yeah.
So the one other thing that I think is really fascinating, and I just want to interject in here, and we're going to be showing you kind of the chakras, but do you want to just mention that some are feminine and some are masculine, because that might also fit in with what you're talking about?
Well, hopefully, let's mention it. And first of all, I just want to say real quickly, there's feminine and masculine energy. And the way they say that in the yogic world is Shiva is the consciousness. Everything embodied is the feminine. Everything in the embodied world, everything manifest is feminine, which I love. But that's an old world view that doesn't give us any understanding of the actual things that are happening in the body once we're totally embodied. And what's happening in the body is a duality. It's a beautiful duality. And it's masculine, feminine, masculine, feminine, masculine, feminine. So we have 3 odd chakras that are masculine, and they contract. They're interested in success, outer world. Like when you see someone really going for it all the time, working hard, got their goals, being full of integrity, I'm going to lead, everything's outer world oriented. That's utterly masculine. When you see someone who doesn't care whether they pay the rent or not, but they're like, oh, my relationships and my heart and my creativity and my intuition, those 3 are the feminine, the 2, 4, 6, right? So hopefully to be whole beings, which we're all learning to be, finally, and I think that's why we're learning how to actually embody our enlightenment. Embodiment is the new enlightenment. Enlightenment used to require that we were almost out of body. Now we're able to actually have it in this body, but the chakras need to be more or less aligned in order for us to be able to experience our embodiment. 3 masculine, the odd ones, 3 feminine, the even. When we do the exercises, remind me, and you'll feel the difference. Let's just notice it as we're doing exercises.
Yeah.
Because I want to do stuff today.
I know, we're going to do it. And it's eclecticenergies.com.
Yeah, where they can get the test.
Yep, so you can go and take a test. It takes 5-10 minutes or so. Each time you do it, you get a different result, and it lays out all 7 and how you're, whether you're is it overactive? How do they describe it?
Yeah, it gives you minuses and it gives you plus, and it calls you overactive, underactive, or like you're in the normal range, okay? But I will say something that I disagree with. I think we're actually moving into superhero status. I believe we're here now to become beings greater than we've ever been before in the skin, not to go to 5D and leave this behind, but rather to bring heaven into our bodies. And because of that, I don't believe in overactivity when all chakras are balanced. So a mathematical test like that might say, for instance, you, Leisa, might say 75, 75, 75, 75. Well, at 75 on that test plus 75, you're overactive. But if every one of your chakras is in that arena of 65 to 85, then you're not overactive. You're just moving into full balance of your total energies. You're just really expanded. Does that make sense?
Totally. I love it. And we have to keep saying that because I think people are so used to, am I in the right place?
Exactly.
Yeah.
In the box, is it like, because we would come from a tradition of like, oh yes, Om, it needs to move up. These are the important chakras. I also want to say, right, I just want to be irreverent today because I got chills in my legs just now. My guides were like poking me. It's like, I want to be a little irreverent. And I just want to remind people that your butt is as sacred as your brain. It just is. It is God energy. It is moving at a slower vibration. We have made lower and slower vibrations negative, or we've put them down. We have like chakraism, right? Lower bad, higher good. But the truth is they're just different colors in the rainbow. We need it all. Especially if you want to manifest, and those of you watching this do, you need to feel your feet on the ground. You need to feel your root chakra, that red, that lowest, densest vibration, because it is the one that relates to the manifest world.
Beautiful. And we're going to take them from the bottom up. We're going to do the exercises starting with the root.
Them from the bottom up, and then I think we'll just invite it back down. But the actual exercises themselves, I say we go from the bottom up.
Okay. And there's a little skipping where Laurel said you're skipping. You never know if it's you or someone else, but I don't think there's anything we can do. You shut down all your other applications on your computer, I'm guessing.
Are you saying, for me, I was going to actually shut down a server or two, but is Skype even on a server? Can I shut down Chrome, or are we on a server? I don't want to kick myself off.
I don't think you're on. I think it's its own app separate.
I think it is too. Okay.
I will call you back if we lose you.
Okay. I want to quit because servers are big. So I'm quitting that. Okay.
Anne was asking about stickers. So they're actually, see, I want you to do stickers too, but they are tattoos. They're tattoos that you put on your body.
For a sec.
Pardon? Are you there?
Okay. Yeah, I think, am I okay? You froze for just a second.
Yep.
Okay, so we should hopefully get better because I am closing a couple apps on my end, which might help. But I have really fast internet here in Phoenix. It's pretty good.
I'm watching mine too.
Is that better?
Yes. It's chakraboosters.com is where there was a question coming in.
And
for tattoos.
You guys, these are tattoos. I know they look like stickers. They're actual tattoos that you put in your body. The ones you played with when you were a kid. They are so fun. They're just a blast. So they go right on your body, right on the water of your body. And Leisa, I definitely, for the Mindful Millionaire community, I'll write this afterwards, but you guys can write it down. Friend discount as one word. Friend discount will get you 25% off.
Ooh.
Of anything.
Thank you.
My course, my sessions, my tattoos, my anything, my meditations, anything in the store.
Oh, and thank you. Tina's helping us. We've got help. She's putting it in the
Tina.
So are we going to go for it with the exercises?
Yeah, I'm going to stand up, and I'm also going to take my ears out because I can't.
Yeah,
this doesn't.
That's fine. So yes.
Okay.
Everyone might, you want to stand up if you can, because it'll make more sense.
We're going to make our way through the body, and we're going to try to get in a sense of, a feeling of, let me see if this works good. Okay. My TV part isn't big enough here, guys, but I'll do what I can, and I'll move it if you need me to. But we're going to start with the root. And I want you to just separate your legs a little bit on the floor and bend your knees slightly. Particularly women, it's a masculine chakra, believe it or not, and it's related to Earth herself. So she's feminine, but it's a masculine, stable, mountain-like chakra. And we tend to lock our knees. Like, just lock your knees for a second and see how that makes you actually wobblier. If I came up and touched you, then bend your knees a little and be a little more sumo wrestler, just a little bit. Get in the bend of those knees. Now feel your feet on the floor. Okay. Now I don't want to make too much noise when I'm here, but one of the things that you can do is you can just stomp. It's that tribal, like as if you're going to tribal music. Let your hands kind of just move and stomp and stop. You're waking up the soles of your feet. The soles of your feet are a gateway to root chakra energy, both directions. Okay. So, and you got to be almost kind of like, you'll notice sometimes we want to start moving the hips a lot. Instead, actually try to make it a little more root, like you're patting on a drum. Like it's a little more harder. It's a little more masculine. It's really awakening that part. Then when you get done with that, we're going to do another one, okay? And this next one is real simple. Just feel for a second. Be still. Bend your knees. Again, notice how we tend to not want to bend our knees. Just bending your knees will give you more access to Earth energy. Okay, so now your butt's just you're in a bit of a squat, just a bit. Okay, feel the soles of your feet. Be still. Just feel the energy. They should be tingling after all that stomping. Now we're going to go up and down the right leg and up and down the left leg. It's going to be loud, so I'll try not to be too loud on my end. But we're going to slap our legs. You're going to slap them to wake them up. Bye, guys. You just go down and slap them, like really wake them up. This is a love slap. It's not, but it's enough to really wake up, right? Because you're wanting to feel the energy moving here. Keep your knees bent. Keep your knees bent all the way up until it hits the hip area, and then go back down. Okay, feel that. And then just sit in that for, again, a minute. Bend the knees. Now you feel the movement in your legs. You feel the soles of your feet. Is anyone barefoot? If you're not barefoot, take your socks off. It's in the Western world, it's that time of year. It's time for us to get as barefoot as we can. Walk on that earth as much as you can. Now, one of the movements I love is, I like to get my hands involved, because the heart opens when the root opens. The heart feels safe when the root is strong. So now I begin to use my hands. And what I like to do with this is I take it up and I just go as if I'm pressing, like you're planting something. And bend even more. And then reach up. And now press down, like feel the
it's denser as you move down further, how literally like the energy gets denser and denser. And then inhale, and you'll notice this lightest at the top. Now exhale, like a piston, you're just coming down. And even imagine, inhale, what are your inspirations, the things that you're bringing from above, and then plant them, bring them down, plant, plant, plant. You're pushing them into the soil, into the density. One more, inhale up. And some of you may already know LAM. So a couple times we're going to do the same movement. We're going to do it with LAM, which is the seed sound for the root. And inhale up. Find your low voice. LAM. From the top, big LAM. Third one's a charm. Long. Keep a micro in your knees. Let your shoulders relax. Just feel how literally if someone tried to push you at your waist right now, they wouldn't get anywhere. You're that solid on the ground. You're a mountain. This is the first of the masculine chakras. It's an energy of stability, of grounding, of strength, of safety, of roots, literal lineage roots, ancestors, memory. So just feel that for a minute, because it can get a little almost schizophrenic as we move into the next chakra, because as we go down the chakras, they get more and more different. Because as we go from oneness up here at the crown, this is oneness, down at the root and the sacral, they're as opposite as they can be. I just got chills in my legs again, because that's why we have literally sexual chemistry between ovaries and testes. The testes are don't get me started on that, because people say the adrenals are the gland of the root, but it's actually the testes. The adrenals are yellow, they're on the kidneys, they're right where the solar plexus is, and they're about get up and go, which is the solar plexus. But the testes are the strength, the bull energy, and that's what's related. So women are actually lacking that gland, interestingly. You can say a woman has balls, but she's lacking that gland. A man is lacking the ovaries, which is the gland for the sacral chakra. So it's a really interesting exchange there, and that seeking out in sexuality often. Not to say, there's also, you feel it energetically, and people of same sex feel these same dynamics, right? So energetically, we're going to tune into the energy of water. The first energy was energy of earth. This is the first feminine chakra, and it's in our hips. And I'm going to move this down just a tad so you can see the hips. It's in our hips here. Find this area, keep the bend. So when we do chakras, we keep building. We build this water in the bowl of the solidity of the root. We don't just let the root go and start, moving around. So keep your solidity and just start to tilt your pelvic bowl and go to one side, like left, back, right, and front. But still feel the solidity as you're doing this. Feel your knees bending. You're just starting to find the flowy, watery feeling of your hips. And then let your hands go, because this is variety in the sacral chakra. It's not about routine like the root chakra is. It's about, I want to do it different. It's joy. It's play. It wants to do it, like start finding that way that just like you want to do. Listen to that part of you that's like, I want to make this fun and spontaneous and sensual. And maybe you go way out and then you go back the other way and way forward. Surprise yourself, like 3 loops this way and then maybe another loop back this way. Just ask your body, what does it want to do? Let flow now be the thing. So you can feel this is the opposite, but yet your feet might still be pretty steady, because we like to be held in our flow by the root chakra. That's what it feels like when the masculine holds space for the feminine. So hold it for yourself. Can you feel that? Yeah, that's really good, you guys. That's really, really good. And this one is Vam, 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 V-A-M, Vam, Vam, Vam. If you ever want to just play with that sound, that's the seed sound for your hips. But what's even better is a little bit of Sade. Just turn on some Sade. Sade is all sacral chakra. Just turn her on, or any of the flowy, sensual music that you might like. I didn't want you guys to have to hear my AC running, so I'm starting to sweat, which is good. Chakra. So that's how easy that is. But keeping the knees bent, you're getting to feel, can you feel both the root and the soles of your feet and the sacral? We're adding. Because the next one, as you know, is going to be opposite of the sacral. We're going back to the masculine. You ready? So get solid for a second. The solar plexus. Keep your knees bent. Notice this area right here. This is your power center. It's fire. I just want you to, we're going to do something called breath of fire, which is as if you are doing shh, like an angry librarian. Shh, shh, like be quiet. Shh. or a little, like a sprinkler system. Shh, 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 shh. This is what's called, it's one version of breath of fire, which literally, if you do it a few times, feel how it connects down here to your solar plexus. Shh. When you do it, you should literally feel that area move. Try it, at least. Shh, 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 shh. See how the solar plexus moves. So that's what you want, because get this, guys. The masculine chakras, first, third, and fifth, root, solar plexus, and throat, contract when they're in power. We always think that when I open a chakra, I want it to be all flowy, flowy. No, these ones contract. Their nature is to get ready to, hold the masculine. So they contract. So when you go, shh, feel how it contracts here. Mm-hmm. Shh. So we're going to play with this. This is the outward focused, warrior, assertive energy. But we're not going to hurt anyone. We're just going to own our own energy. So we're going to playfully do punches like this. It looks so funny on the camera. So we're going to playfully do punches, but we're going to do them with the breath of fire. So we might get tired real quick, but it's going to light this area up. Okay, you ready? Shh, 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 Woo! So can you feel what that does? It lights this area, but the reason this one's powerful is because this is the forward-moving, future-oriented chakra. This is masculine, goal-oriented. It's also assertive. It likes to it's the fighter in you, the warrior in you. So just, even though you're pulling it back, just feeling that ability to have that energy. There's something you got to, how's that feel for you, Leisa, when you do that? Like, what does that feel like?
Empowering.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm strong.
Badass, And the thing is to have it be at least solid enough that it's not totally pulling us around. Because again, the masculine is a solid. It's got a solidity. The feminine's going to want to move. And it's when we find the perfect medium between those two that you were talking about, that it all starts to come together within us and we can choose. We're not in roles. We can choose to bring it all there. So that's my suggested one. If you do want to make a sound here, it's wrong. But I like the breath of fire sound better than the seed sound itself. I really just like the shh, shh, because every time you make that sound, if you ever just you got to go to something, you need confidence, or you're mad about something, you want to get through it, just bend down and start going shh, shh, shh. It'll just really let you feel your own power rather than feel like a victim. And that's pretty powerful.
Awesome.
So, yeah. So we're at the midpoint now. The bridge between the lower chakras that are very much about the physical world and the upper chakras that are very much about the non-physical. So you can imagine these movements become less important. Because this world up here really is what Leisa said. It's a lot about thoughts and energy and beliefs, things we carry that affect our energy system. But we're not quite there yet. And there's still some, at least through the third eye. So we're going to do a few more. The heart is all about this way. See how I'm standing up? Like you just get this upright. Notice, what does your solar plexus do when you open your heart, Leisa? Does it go out or in?
Oh, open, out.
It goes out, right? Which for the solar plexus is a weakening. So this is a physical example right here of how the opposition between the chakras is always inviting us to really bring consciousness to keeping them together. Because when the heart opens, if you lengthen your tailbone, your core will stay in. But if you don't, it'll go forward, and now you've lost the core to open your heart. And this, watch me, this represents, and a lot of women have a tendency to do this more than men, this is me losing myself, the solar plexus, in relationship. So I open my heart, I let go of my core and lose who I am. But I can walk in, lengthen my tailbone, keep my core, and open my heart. You can, there's ways to open the heart while you're still thinking about lengthening your tailbone and your core is still strong. That's a whole different story. That's you can do a back bend from that place. But you cannot do a Cirque du Soleil back bend if you're from the other place because you're not holding the integrity. That's just yogic stuff for those of you who are yogis who are watching. But symbolically, let's all think about that. When I open my heart, do I forget about me and let that pop away from my center being? You know? So try to keep this, but at the same time, we're going to do what I call tray arms. Elbows come forward, arms come up, and just lift up through your armpits and feel almost like you're doing a little bit of a back bend. So open your heart. So this is the yes motion. This is very open. And we have the holding ourselves. Give yourself a big hug and say no. This opens the heart, right? Inhale, yes. Exhale, no. Inhale. Exhale. Soften it a little because this is the feminine, right? I noticed I was still bringing solar plexus energy in. So let's go even softer. Inhale, mother energy. Exhale, still mother energy, but just protective and grounding. Inhale, open the heart. Let that heart really feel. Lift your armpits. Let it feel. Bend your elbows. And then exhale. Another thing you can do is if you have blocks, a yogic block at home, or I even can do it on the end of a bedboard, like if you've got put a pillow over something, you can literally just lay back so that your thoracic, this part of your back is sitting, and just let yourself lay there. And just be open, because we're so used to this, right? And this, and computers, and driving. And this is what's aging us. And it's closing our hearts, our heart center. Now, can we still have our energy open while our body is closed? Yes. But it's not the same as living through our body and letting our body express our spirituality. It's a much more integral feeling when our body gets to live it. We feel the integrity of living it. So if you can stay upright, this is the elixir of youth. It keeps us young, seriously. Because literally, look, Lisa, we're born like this in a little embryonic position. And we come up and we get up. And hopefully, if we don't do too much of this, we get up and we get upright. And as long as we're here, the better. Because eventually, as we get older, we start curling back into the womb. We're just making one full cycle in a lifetime. It's almost like one big inhale, one big exhale, and we pass, right? Let's keep this part, the heart part, as open as we can for as long as we can. I believe this year, 2020, is a heart year, which I have in my energy forecast. I'll leave you guys some links when I'm done here, my shadow link. But the energy forecast, we talk a lot. In 2020, it's an heart opening year. Coronavirus is a heart attacking, a heart activating, because anything it's a heart activating problem in what everyone is calling a heart year, 2020, for heart. Collaboration, opening, we're learning on a whole new level.
And Vicki, can you speak to, Stacy was saying there's emotion coming through as we do this.
Right on. She's centering and balancing. This is the centering chakra. This is our essence, really, right? Right, Lisa? Heart is our essence, guys. When you're balanced, a lot of people, they try to be nice. Nice is not heart. Heart can be fierce. Heart is just love in its full sense. It's who you are, showing up fully and brightly and serving and being who you really are. And when you do that, and you show up like that, or when you balance all your chakras, that just shows up. But if you just try to be nice and you'll want to clamp down your power. I'm going to be nice. You know what I'm talking about, Lisa. So it's like, clamp down your voice. You'll one or the other. These two really get clamped when we try to be nice. There's a quote from, who is it who says, I'm totally drawing a blank right now, who says, I'd rather be whole than good.
Yeah, I know that quote, but I don't know.
He worked with Freud, right? He worked with Jung.
Oh, yeah.
Said, I'd rather be whole than good. And I'd rather have a memory than not. I'd rather be whole than good. And that's what chakras are all about. They're about us embracing. This is another thing you and I have commonly is a desire to embrace all of us and all of others. We understand the health in allness, whether it's top down or bottom up. You know, it's about embracing everything. So whatever comes up, you guys, emotions coming up at the heart, that's great. The emotions, as we know them as moods, are actually set more in the sacral, but the heart is our essence, and it brings up love and gratitude and grief and sacred loss, which is grief. You know, it's just a beautiful, it's our essence. Yeah. So we don't bend it enough. We literally physically don't enough. So just lay back whenever you can, just over a block or over the edge of a bed or something, or do what we were just doing. This no, yes, as loud as you can. I'm not going to yell right now, but yes, no, because they're both valid. Yes, no. Your no allows you to say yes to what you really want to say yes to. Otherwise, how are you going to be able to say yes? You're too busy with all the stuff you should have said no to.
That's right.
That's 4 and down. We're at the bridge. So now we're in with the upper chakra zone. This is a much less corporal zone, but it nevertheless is a problem where our culture is doing a lot of work. The heart and the fifth is really this fifth 5D, this dimension that we're going into and working with and everything. It's right here. So we were a lot in solar. We're becoming a lot more in heart and a lot more in fifth. Okay, and fifth is where the magic begins. It's where things are going to get interesting and spooky to some, but because it is where the spiritual really begins. It's where the etheric template is, which is what do I want and how does the word begin to bring it into reality for me? So it's the alchemical place where we bridge the unseen with the seen. So it's pretty darn cool. This is magic zone. And a lot of people are having thyroid issues. The gland here is the thyroid. Okay. And you get people who have too much thyroid and not enough. But basically what you want to do is here, be aware of your neck. So we're going to do a few neck rolls, but I want to stress something. Your foundation for your neck begins in your root chakra, in your first masculine chakra. So make sure your knees are bent again. If they weren't bent, just notice. Mine weren't as bent as I'd like them to be, right? I noticed like, oh, I wasn't as grounded again. I was getting out of my grounding. Go in there and then feel your core again and then feel your throat. And they have something, there's 3 locks in yoga. Where are they? Of course, in the masculine chakras. They're called bandhas. Mula bandha, where we squeeze the perineum up and in. Uddiyana bandha, where the core gets ignited. Jalandhara bandha, where we draw the chin back. And that squeezes the thyroid. So what you're going to do with the thyroid now is you're just going to go down and up. But as you do, when you go up here, this is really important. Imagine you're going to go up and over a bar that's behind your neck. So I want you to make length. We never want to make movement cause us to be more constricted or close down nerves. We're always opening. So you want to think about your neck really opening. And then when you take your chin down, still think about your neck extending. This is a funny thought. That's good, Lisa. So your neck's extending, but now just simply squeeze these muscles. Bring your chin down toward your chest, right? It's beautiful. It's nice and attractive, right? I mean, you're squeezing the thyroid. It's like you're making love to the thyroid. Just think about, hi, thyroid, and you're giving it a nice cleansing, some lymph work. Lift up and back. Make sure you're going up and over a bar so there's lots of space in the neck, and then squeeze again. And you could just do a few of these every day so that your your thyroid is really getting the movement it needs. Now, Imagine your neck's really long. I have a long one, so I have to do this really carefully. Imagine that you've got electricity pulling your head up, so you're nice and long. With this length happening, take your right ear toward your right shoulder, but relax the right shoulder. We're going to go back. Again, knees are bent. You need that root support. And then go back into, I'm doing the opposite of you guys, so it would be to your right, and then forward. Keep lengthening through your crown, even as your ear's going toward the shoulder, then toward the back. You're still lengthening through the crown. I like to be very clear about this stuff, guys. I could just let you do it, but you might actually be condensing your neck. You might be bringing the vertebrae closer together, and I want you to lengthen. One more time around. Now, I just felt something quite literally. Tune in for a minute. See if you can feel anything move all the way down in your sacral or tailbone area. It's amazing. Breathe and feel it. We'll go the other direction and check out in the silence. Follow your spine all the way down to the base. Feel it. From your neck down to your tailbone. One more circle. Lengthen. Come back to neutral, and I want you to be aware that the yes and no that we said for the heart is actually activates the throat. So truly the heart exercise I did, if you add the words, you're really doing heart and throat. Because it's really the throat that wants to know it's yes and it's no. It's super strong. The heart likes to know it because the heart can tend to always be open. So it needs to know, like, some people are so open in the heart that, believe it or not, we actually need the ability to close it a bit. The ability to say, no, not now, not right here. Like, you're not really closing it per se, but you are creating boundaries that are safe in your physical world. And that's important. And it's literally becomes a toggle that you can do. We want to be able to do that with every chakra. How open, how boundaried. Okay. So were you able to feel that at all, Leisa, like down all the way to your tail? Like, could you follow that energy?
Totally. Yeah. It's interesting because Tom Bird, who I used his writing skill that he teaches, he actually has you do these exercises, and I never put it two and two together until just now that he's opening the throat chakra so that you can write, like allow it to come through.
Absolutely.
So for those writers and bloggers and videographers out there, like, this is a really helpful exercise because you're opening this up. You're opening your connection to the divine, is how he describes it. I mean,
yeah.
And your deepest truths.
This is the gateway. This is sort of the bridge between the two, but this is the gateway, the beginning of the whole spiritual realm. And it's the alchemical, magical area. And that's why we say first there was the word, because the word has that vibration. It has that magic when we say things. But it only has that magic when we say things meaningfully. And in our culture, we've had a tendency, whether it's in text or any form, to make words less sacred. Mm-hmm. So I'm just a real logophile, and I'm sometimes just wanting us to come back to a much more sacred relationship with what we say.
Yeah.
You have two things you can do when you say things. You can either promise less so that you can live more out of your feminine. Listen closely, everyone. You promise less because this is your masculine honorability up here. It's your highest masculine chakra. Promise less because you know your feminine is going to want to do whatever it wants to do. Or promise and then go the extra mile to make sure you build your masculine to meet that promise, to keep that vow. You can go either way. They're both valid ways. Make less promises, stay more in the feminine. Make promises, but I wouldn't want to make promises and then just treat them as if they don't matter, because that then will continue to create a lack of balance in the throat, because you're hearing yourself all the time. Okay? So, and those are exercises too, like what I just said about promises. So now we're in the third eye, which is the highest feminine. They call it the crone. I don't like it because we get there now. We have babies coming in already here. So we're a much wiser age now. I don't know about you, Leisa, but people I work with, sometimes I'm around kids in their 20s and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. You know, the stuff that's coming in now, the psychic abilities and the insight. So up here, I could literally do what's called in yoga like a down dog and put my head toward the floor on a block. That's one of the things I do. There aren't many options here, but because we're already almost non-corporal, we're all the way up here, I'd like to do a bit of a meditation where you're just feeling your feminine chakras, like feel into the fluidity of your heart again. Maybe just do a few circles with your knees bent. Just feel that fluidity and then come to center. And then lift your shoulders and open your heart a little. Just feel that heart chakra energy. Take the sides of your neck back so you're almost about to take your head back and look at the sky. And then just find an upright position. You could feel the drop line of your body just going straight down, knees bent slightly. It just feels pretty solid but comfortable. And then just take a few deep breaths here, feeling the soles of your feet on the floor. Good, you guys, I can really feel the heart energy here, which means we're doing a good job of balancing when I can feel the field's heart energy, because that's where we naturally go. It's really off the charts. Awesome. Now, we're going to do a little bit of a visualization. Keeping your eyes closed, following your breath, I want you to imagine that you are a peacock. The peacock is by far my favorite animal for the third eye, because it has all those eyes on its beautiful feathers. It's so beautiful. And this chakra is about insight and beauty, elegance. So imagine you're a peacock, but your feathers are not open. So you almost feel heavy on your backside with this carrying all these feathers, but they're not open. And then I want you to imagine spreading your feathers. And as you do, opening the third eye. And if you even want to, you can energetically, just softly, just imagine, like open it, like taking your hands and just imagine that you're opening this gateway in the front of your forehead. Yeah, it's really nice, like you're massaging it. And then imagine all these beautiful eyes on your feathers behind you. Because we get so much information from our intuition, which has a back body feeling to it, our unconscious and our higher self. Feel how you just know things that you know, and they're not related to logic. Good, you guys. Whoa. The top of my head is like, whoa. So just feel that, the things you know that you just know in your being. And the beauty that you're expressing with these feathers, all these eyes. So the feathers will create all these eyes behind you. So you have more than just the two eyes that you are used to using. Anytime you want to tap into more of this intuitive sense, you can just do this peacock envisioning. And immediately I can feel like my hair is getting tingly because you guys are doing it so strong. It's like immediately it just opens this gateway to your higher self. And then bring your hands, your palms together. Keep your knees bent. Bring your hands down toward your heart. And notice they're pointing up toward your crown. So I want you to put your attention at your crown. And then release your hands alongside your body so they get to just relax. No energy at all in your hands, no work there. They're just relaxing along the side of your body. Now imagine there's a sunroof just above your head. And you're pushing a button and it's sliding open. And as it slides open, energy just pulls down into your body from the cosmos. So white energy just goes down into every cell of your body, awakening even more consciousness. Because every cell has God energy in you. So literally feel everything lighting up in a sweet, gentle way. Remembering your birth of your true self, your energetic self that can never die and is only born into a physical body but is ever living. Feel into that self, that vibrant life. And now feel how that energy, it goes beyond your body, actually. It's impersonal in a sense. It's in your body, but it goes out and everyone else has it too. And as you follow it farther and farther out from your body, you might even go across the globe or the universe, and you'll start to feel that there's nothing you're not connected to. Really get that sense, and if that's too hard of a sense to get, come back again to feeling that white light pour into you, feel it fill you up, and then begin to follow it going out into all of the cosmos. Because it's literally your essence, your deepest essence. And then just find for yourself, since we've gone way out, allow yourself to be way out. Allow yourself to feel that, wow, I'm connected to everything. But also imagine that all your chakras are coming back into alignment from what we've done. And I'm just going to talk them down from the crown energy that you feel into the third eye and that peacock energy. You might feel some energy behind you with that support, that knowing. Then into your throat, where you keep your word, where you have this honorability, this connection to the divine, into your heart, where you feel like just such deep acceptance of self and others. All, not acceptance of just the good, but everything. It's like it's all God energy and awareness, yeah. And then down into your solar plexus, where you embrace your own fire, your own power. It's okay that you're big, that you're bold, that you're powerful. You're here to awaken yourself and others and to have fun doing it, which brings us to the joy of the sacral. Feel the water-like energy of your hips. They might be making a figure 8. You might even want to move your circles again if you want. That's always good. In these times, we need lots of joy. Feel the fluidity of that. When you feel like you have an understanding of that fluidity, then come to a stillness. Bend your knees and feel your connection to the earth. Let energy move out the open soles of your feet into the earth, into the stones and the dirt, all the way down into the core of Mother Earth, where she's radiating magnetism. So you might feel like the bottoms of your feet are literally being sucked into her core, so that you're really here, you're really present. And if any fears come up about being really present, it's nothing to run away from. Just completely acknowledge it. Like give it a loving acknowledgement. Okay, yeah, and I'm here. And then just bring your hands back to heart center one more time, just so we can feel this center chakra. Hands together in a prayer position, a namaste position, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to invite you to do something. If you feel right now like you want more upper chakra energy, you're going to take your hands up to the sky. If you feel like you need more root chakra energy, like we were talking about before, you'll turn your hands downward and you're going to plant it. You're going to go down that energy. So the last thing is the direction you want your energy to go more. And then when you're ready, just open your eyes. Oh, we made it.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. We were getting all kinds of really cool notes. Fabulous, great exercise. Feeling it all the way to both sides of my tailbone and tingles in my toes.
Because, we, for years and years and years have done, it's been a masculine practice of one going up and also of almost disembodiment. Like and the reason was sound. It was sound. We were in a world that was very gravity bound and that we didn't have the consciousness yet. So to really get into that consciousness and to also let go of getting lost in the lower chakras, we went up. But now we literally have enough light where we are in the cosmos, the planet, and where we are individually. We have enough light and enough spiritual awakening now. It takes mindfulness, but we can bring our body along so we can be enlightened in our body and in our day-to-day stuff. It doesn't have to look like we're monks or we're just really can be aligned within ourselves.
Can we, one of the questions was, could we do this several times during the day?
Well, that was a long one that we did, but obviously, yeah. I mean, I would hope that, imagine if rather than having just gyms where everybody totally pumped out and it was all sort of ego-oriented, or having just churches where everybody was sitting on their butt. Granted, I know some Southern Baptist ones that aren't that way, but the churches where people are just sitting there and maybe singing a hymn. Between those two, we have this, if you can feel that. We have just saying, this is the first thing you could do in the morning. And then if you feel like you're losing it throughout the day, you could maybe, I'm really losing the solar plexus, and you could come back to that. And heart's always a good one too, because it's the center. But for me, ground is good. It's, you'll know your own profile. Like we led you to the test, and whatever your profile is and whatever you're feeling, yes, that's a huge yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Stacy was saying she does this practice, but she didn't know she was doing it like naturally, spontaneously. It was coming through in her personal training session. So, and I had the same, like how chakras sort of work their way through the other things that we're doing in the world. Like for me, I've been doing breath work and tying it into the chakras, for example. Like it's amazing how once you sort of open up, you may be guided to already be doing this, or in the writing that you do. Chakras can become, it's like for me, they're a map of, all of life, like the maturation process or the coming into our fullest sense of self, which is how we started this conversation. They allow us to be the true person that we are, this self that's beyond just the physical body. Yeah.
For me, they're the map too. Like I love talking about them as the map, and they are. But for me, I have a tendency to distrust maps because I came in as this odd bird who, in your camp, I might not be an odd bird. You might have lots of, because you now have developed so much upper chakra psychic abilities and stuff. You may have a lot of people like me in your tribe. You and I are together. And so I found that whenever I've followed maps, that most people say, someone's in New York and I want to get them to California. So they give a map to California. But if I'm in Seattle and they tell me the directions from New York to California, I'm going to be out in the ocean. You see what I'm So the thing I love about chakras is they're the only thing that I know people that hear me get geeky about chakras think that chakras are biased, but to me it's the opposite. They go across all cultures. They're like the only map we have that lets me look at the map. And literally, if I'm working with a client, if I was working with you, Leisa, I would say, have you do something completely different than me. Right? So they're the actual map that lets us know that it instead of being a map of giving the directions from New York, the map of the chakras let us see, Seattle is got to go a different way to get to Kansas than New York does. Mm-hmm. Right? And it gives us that. And it's not like when you go to a teacher and they say, well, this is how I did it. Because a lot of teachers you can go to, they aren't your type. Yeah. So once you learn chakras, you learn, I just want to work on whatever my weaknesses are, whatever the areas for me, it's the lower. For you, it was the upper, right? Mm-hmm. And we're getting much stronger in both of those.
Yeah. And noticing once you kind of get the overall strong foundation of understanding what they're saying to you, then you can play around. Like if you're writing a book, you do maybe more throat, exercises, or for you helped me a lot around the solar plexus, like you mentioned, where I noticed that there was still a tendency that I was afraid of being too masculine. So I was holding back, and I needed you to sort of say, hey, you can be more. You can be more present in your energy, for example. I was just waiting for somebody to give me permission, by the way, but
funny to me that you would ever think that you would, because to me, you're so, you have so much caring heart chakra, and then your destiny is also sacral. So you have so much feminine energy. And I just want to say to you, go with the solar girl, because it's sandwiched. You're safe, like bring on your full fire, your full leadership, because you have so much heart. It's never going to be off balance. And this is the fun part about it. But like you said, it's always, you get to play with it. It's changing. We've got profiles, but it's also constantly changing. But in the past, when there was the recipe that you just go up, to me, that was truly, we all needed pretty much the same recipe, 99% of us.
Yeah.
But now we don't. So now part of the fun is just like, what's my chakra recipe?
Yeah.
And after we do it for a while, what is it now?
Yeah.
And what is it now?
Yeah, totally. Well, I'm going to see if there might have been a few questions. So I'm going to look at the stream of questions, and we've run a little bit over, no big deal. But first, I want to, first of all, say I love you, and I appreciate you doing this for us, and the way that we can all support Vicki and giving us her time. And, go check out chakraboosters.com. Check out the tattoos. You get 25% off. She has books there. Amazing books. Like, you guys, if you want to dive into an incredible book, I know you showed this earlier, but The Roadmap to Life Mastery, Discover the 7-Year Cycles That Shape Your Life. There's one of her books.
Yeah, I don't think I showed it here. I think you and I have shared it, but I don't think I showed it here. But that book will tell you guys what chakra life cycle you're in, what we literally are, our chakras are moving. You know how we have biological evolution? Well, that is led by energetic evolution. Of course, energy always leads biology. So this is really interesting. You can know why your child's going into terrible twos at the end of the second year, right before the third year. You can know why your 15-year-old literally is acting like they want to have nothing to do with you. That's totally normal. I explain why in the book. I explain why we have our biggest spiritual life crisis at 49, 50, and share some of the spiritual gurus and teachers who went through specific life crises at 49, 50, like Neil Donald Walsh and Sonia Choquette and the Hendricks, Gay Hendricks, actually. So,
That's interesting, because I think I would have started, so I'll be 54 this year, so I would have started the book like maybe 48 and have been writing through that whole period of breakdown to breakthrough. And the book, The Mindful Millionaire, is taking the relationship that we have with money and then using the chakras to teach you what's going on underneath it and how does it play out with money? How does it show up in your relationship with money? And how can you change the things that you didn't actually know you could change and probably weren't even conscious to you? And that was the idea. And that's why the research and what Vicki helped me do was understand the chakras at an even deeper level, so that I could translate it into money. It's fascinating how we can each use this as a way to communicate in a much deeper way concepts that we know we want to teach in the world.
It's a brilliant book, Leisa, and I love the way I just love your inquisitive mind and the way that you work with people, because you're like me, a pattern finder, but I'm more a pattern finder of the philosophical, because again, I'm coming from up here, and you're a pattern finder of people and tribe, who comes from the root. Like, what are these people's stories? And stories overlap, and again, we meet in the middle with that, and it's so good. Like, I'm always learning stuff from you, but the book is just brilliant, and I'm so excited for it to come out. And I don't think we did share with everyone, in case we didn't. I don't know if we did, guys, but it's if you at my store, friend discount. I think I did say it.
Yeah. Chakraboosters.com. And they're asking for us to post it. So when we're done, okay, we can go in and we can post some additional things to make sure that you all can find it. And come visit us in Sedona.
I want to tell everyone too, I'm hopefully going to post this on my YouTube channel, but we also want to for sure have everyone come over. Starting in about a week from now, I'll be posting more of the things that we did around the money lens for each chakra. I've posted the root, but I still need to post the sacral and the solar and the heart. And yeah, because we were kind of playing with that. I'm shy to post it because you and I were being so playful and goofy. Everyone's like, well, let her talk, because it wasn't an interview. It was just us doing the videos, and they thought it was an interview. I have a great interview from Leisa over there, too, on the Mindful Millionaire, on the YouTube channel as well. So I've got some of your great stuff over there.
Yeah, we'll post YouTube channel as well. So you can also, because we mentioned the shadow work and some other stuff. So we're just going to have a long list of resources. But this has been great, and we're getting tons of feedback. Thank you for doing this, and everybody's saying it was just super fun and a great change, right? It was different than what anybody had ever, I think, done before in this way. So we like to keep it different.
Go embodiment. Yay, embodiment.
Yes, thank you everyone for being here. Thanks for your notes. Thanks for your support and being part of the Mindful Millionaire community. You make it special, and we love you. So thank you.
Love you.
Bye-bye. Okay. Now I just have to figure out how to turn off the... Bye, everybody.
We're here still?
Yeah, we are, because I have no idea how to stop it. Here we go. Wait. I didn't do that part. I just learned how to... I learned how to play it. It's the funniest thing.
I'm probably telling you right now.
I know, huh?
In Facebook.
In live session. I found it! Bye-bye, everybody.